Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rekah Kadash. Now, this lesson is going to be about the poverty, the slavery, and the hell. And this is the true hell. Not the hell that they teach in their movies. This is the true hell that the Bible was talking about. And to understand that, let me get Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha Sirach. This is the hell and the death or the lifestyle that it was like being dead. This is how you understand that. Okay, Ecclesiasticus chapter 40, verse 28, it say, "My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg." I'm going to read that again. "My son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg." Now let me read verse 29. It says, "The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life." You see, this is what hell is all about. And so let's go into the fate of Israel and these other nations. This hell was meant for them. And when you're in rulership, the other nations that's not in rulership, they're gonna be in hell. That's why what the parable of Lazarus, the rich man and Lazarus the beggar, that's what it was all about. Now, let me start this off with Leviticus, because it gives you pretty much an definition of what being a beggar and what being poor is all about. Okay, Leviticus chapter 25, verse 39. It say, "And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor," see, if he be waxen poor and be sold unto you, you shall not compel him to serve as a bond servant. Okay, so the foundation of the problem is your brother waxing poor. Okay, let's jump over to verse 48. It says, it says, "After that he is sold, he may be redeemed again." Now let me read verse 7, because I want to get some context on this situation. Verse 47, Salakia. Verse 47. Let me get verse 47, okay? It says, "And if a sojourner or a stranger wax rich by thee, and thy brother that dwell by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by thee, or to the stock of the stranger's family." 48, here we go. "After that he is sold, he may be redeemed again." one of his brethren may redeem him. 49. Either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, or any that is nigh of kin unto him of his family may redeem him, or if he be able, he may redeem himself. Okay, so now we getting into redemption. Redemption is all about you being poor and you being a slave. You living off another man's table. That's what it's all about. Now let me get through these precepts. Now we're finna go into Israel and see what was this punishment. The punishment that Israel got. And now we understand a poor people or why it's a racial divide in America. Why it's a racial wealth gap in America. Now we finna understand that. Okay, I'm gonna skim through these verses, but I'm gonna bring out the key part. Okay, when you going to Deuteronomy 28, it's telling the Israelites, verse 1, if you obey me, Deuteronomy 28, verse 1, if you obey me, I'm going to put you above all nations. So now you finna be rich above all nations. Then, if you disobey me and not listen to my commandments, I'm going to do this. Okay. And we're going to get straight to the point. Deuteronomy 28:68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships, or slavery or captivity again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto you, you shall see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you or redeem you. Because that buy you and redeem you is in the same category. And in the Hebrew word, it's the same word to mean redeem. See, that's what these individuals don't understand. And while we on this point, let me get Isaiah. Let me get this Isaiah to bring this point out while we here. This on a side note. Isaiah 59, verse 20. It says, and the Redeemer shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression in Jacob, says the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. See, the Redeemer is going to come to Zion. That is what the Redeemer is going to come to do. And why is he going to come to Zion? Because he told them that no man is going to be able to buy you when you are sold unto your enemy. And when you are sold unto your enemy, what's going to happen? Verse 44. He shall lead you, and you shall not lend to him. Lend, Salakia. He shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail. Verse 48. Therefore shall thy serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron around thy neck until he have destroyed thee. This is what gonna happen when you disobey me. you're going to go into hell. And hell is when you are pretty much dead. Because when you go, let me quote it one more time, because people might have forgot. Ecclesiastes 40 and 28. Ecclesiastes 40 and 28. My son, lead not a beggar life, for better is it to die than to beg. 29. The life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life. So you gonna serve your enemies, which the Lord gonna send against you, and you gonna have to serve them for your hunger, for your thirst, for your clothing, for the want of all things. You gonna have to survive off a day table. He's gonna lend to you, but you're not gonna lend to him. See, that's the punishment they was got. They was put into hell, but you is like you is dead. See, and that was the punishment. Now let's get Daniel, because people say, "Oh, many people went into slavery. Slavery is an old thing. Yeah, many people went into slavery, but it's not about one set of people. This is about a nation of peoples." And we know only one whole nation, a whole nation of peoples went into slavery, and it drew people's attention. The Atlantic slave trade drew people's attention. People understood it. And America is still drawing attention, how you have a racial wealth gap where these individuals are cast into a servitude position. Now, Daniel 9 and 11 say, yeah, all Israel have transgressed the law, disobeyed, even by departing, that they might not obey the voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon them, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, Deuteronomy, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. Verse 12, and he have confirmed his words which he has spake unto us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil, hell. For under the whole heaven have not been done as it has been done to Jerusalem. See? Verse 13, let me throw that in now. As it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. So just how he said it in Deuteronomy, that's how it happened in Babylon. See, that's why Babylon the Great is that translated slave trade. Now let me get that in Zechariah and Joel. I'm gonna grab Joel real quick. Then I'm gonna get Zechariah, because that's what how this thing sparked off. Okay, it's Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, for behold, in those days and in that time will I bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Verse 6. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. That is how the situation went down in the transatlantic slave trade. They were sold unto their enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And those enemies had an identity. Okay? So let's go into Zechariah and get some more. Zechariah chapter 1. And I'm going to skim through this because this is a long one. Chapter 1, verse 18 through 21. It say, then lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said, verse 19, and I said unto the angel that talked to me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns that scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. So it was 4 horns that scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. Judah and Israel represent the northern kingdom, and all of them came from Jerusalem. That's how the situation popped off. And so these four horns consist of one nation. That's another thing. These four horns was mainly from one nation doing the scattering, because this one nation was financing the whole situation. Okay? And so the next verse talking about the four carpenters, that the four carpenters is going to come and defeat the four horns. That's the second coming World War III situation. But the four horns, to easily understand it, look at the languages. You got English, Spanish, Portuguese, and French. English, French with the Haitian, Spanish with the Northern Kingdom, Puerto Rico, Mexico, etc., etc., Dominican Republic. Then you have English, the Judah Negroes in America, and Jamaica, they speak in English, just a broken English, or a slower English. So them four languages that was spreading, scattering the Israelites around. Now in Zechariah 2:7 it says, deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwelleth with the daughter of Babylon. So who is this daughter of Babylon that scattered the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of Israel? Who is this? Who is this people? Let's go to Amos chapter 1. Amos chapter 1 verse 6. And I'm going to get straight to the point. Verse 6 is say Gaza. That's talking about the Arabians. It says, or the Arabs. It says, because they carried away captives the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. Now Edom is the Edomites, the so-called white man. And so verse 9 says the same thing, talking about Tyrus, them are Hamites, the so-called Africans. It said the same thing to them, because we know that the so-called Africans sold the people in the slave trade to the Edomites, or the so-called white men. That's how we can identify who is who. Verse 9, it says, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant. You see? So that's how we know who is who. And so, what else we got? We can hit Revelation real quick. Well, I want to make this kind of short, not that long. Revelation 13:10 say, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And that whole chapter 13 is about America and Britain, two other horns that was the major leaders in the situation, because it was four horns. The French was involved, and the Portuguese and the Dutch was involved, but the main ones was here in America and over there in Britain. And really, Britain was the mother of them all. When you go into Jeremiah, I think in 50-51 range, it's talking about the mother. The mother of these Edomites was Britain. They came out of that area. Now, let me get Isaiah 14. It talks about how Israel is going to take these peoples into captivity, because it say, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. And it says in Isaiah 14 that the people that took captives the Israelites are going to take them captives and rule over their oppressors. Now, Yahushua, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ, he prophesied about all of this in Luke 21. He said, and they, verse 24, Luke 21:24, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captives into all nations. See, they're going to be led away captives into all nations. It said, Jerusalem, the people, shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Till the rulership of the Gentiles is over. Okay? And so that's what was happening to the Israelites. They was put in hell for disobedience. That's what that hell was all about. It was for disobeying the Most High. You see, and people don't understand that. They thinking that people are lazy or being stupid, and it has nothing to do with any of that. That's just something that they conjured up. Now let me get this parable with the rich man and Lazarus, because this is who it's talking about: the slave master and the slave. The rich man is the slave master, and the slave is the beggar living in hell. Because see, that's where they try to get their hell doctrine from. But God was giving you an allegory, telling you that it's worse than death. It's worse than Gehenna, where you throw dead bodies in a hole full of fire, where the maggot don't die. You see, it's worse than being in that situation, than being a freaking beggar. Now let's get it real quick. Okay, where we at? Luke 16. Luke 16. It says a rich man and beggar. Okay. Let's see here. Where we at? Verse 19. Luke 16 and verse 19. Therefore was a certain rich man which was clothed in fine purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. Okay. Verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores. 21. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs from which fell from the rich man's table. You see, this is what this thing is talking about. Because Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, that's what it was talking about. Let's read that again. It say, my son, lead not a beggar's life, for better it is to die than to beg. Verse 29, the life of him that dependeth on another man's table is not to be counted for a life. Okay. Now where is it? We was at Luke 16 and 20 and 21. Okay, where he say, and Lazarus designed to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came to lick his sores. Okay, everybody came to put this man into captivity. Everybody came to make him a bondman, a slave, bondman and bondwoman. Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died. See, this is what it's all about. It was worse than death. That's why he had to die. He said, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man also died. So this is when both of them come to the end of the rich man's kingdom. This is what's going to happen after the rich man lived out his kingdom, and everything came to an end. That's pretty much why both of these individuals died. It says, and was buried. It said, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being tormented, and seeing Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. So the rich man, is going to be in the poor man's position. he's going to be in hell. He's going to be like someone that is dead. See, being a beggar, living that life. Then verse 24, it says, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of the finger in the water to cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. See, he's going to be in hell. He's going to be in captivity and in slavery. That's what the scriptures is talking about. It's not talking about, oh, he was a wicked man and he died and went to hell, and he was down there wanting somebody to help him. No, it's not talking about that. It's talking about he's going to be a poor man now. He's going to be a beggar. He's going to be in captivity. That's what the situation is going to happen. You see, and that bringing it to both of them dying and him going into Abraham's bosom, because the next kingdom is going to be a godly kingdom. It's not going to be a fleshly kingdom. It's going to be a spirit ordered, a spirit controlled kingdom. The spirit is going to be on the Israelites, who are the beggars in this kingdom, and they're going to be giving out the laws and keeping everything in order through the spirit and the power of Yahweh. And Yahweh Shah is going to be the king in that kingdom with his people. Now, it was something in Proverbs. It was something in Proverbs. I'm thinking, or was this in Psalms? It might have been Psalms. Psalms chapter. Let me look in Psalm. There we go. There we go. Psalms chapter 10. It says, the wicked in his pride do persecute the poor. See, that's that rich man. He was persecuting the nation of Israel, because the nation of Israel is poor. That's where you get the racial wealth gap. And the prison population is mostly the poor Israelites. 60% of the prison system. You see, it say, let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. See, they imagine destroying the Israelites, like Psalm 83. Let their name be cut off, so nobody can remember who they are. And so, this is how the true hell. This is what the true hell is all about. Not know somebody going under the ground with a devil and a pitchfork. Say no, that's devil with a pitchfork. That's not what the hell they was talking about. The torment was he's gonna be tormented because he's gonna be in captivity. Who is being tormented now? The beggar, Israel, the 12 tribes, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They are being tormented. Not no other nation, because nobody is going through what we going through. They getting their reparations. They getting their they get sharing the kingdom with Esau, with the so-called white man. They not sitting here and being totally neglected. They sitting on the seat in the UN. They having their whole country that they can have their peoples in, and they police them their own people. But the Israelites is being policed in the Edomite kingdom, in the Edomite nations, Europe, America, the islands. They being policed by the so-called white man. And anyhow, I just want to bring that up. I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rekakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.